Markets can be really good, but they can also be really, really bad. Hi guys, my name is Eddie and I've been running my product-based business for around 1.5 years now. And in the course of running my business, I have attended a lot of markets. So these are either local markets, farmers markets, monthly markets, Christmas fairs, summer fairs, all sorts, you name it, I have been there. And this year I might not be attending any. Or that is to say, I'm going to be attending a lot fewer than I did last year. So for a bit of context, when I started my business, I didn't actually plan on attending any markets. I thought that I was going to start selling my products online. I was going to be extremely successful, just taking pictures and posting them to Instagram, and everyone would love me and I would make £1 million in a year. Obviously that did not happen because that was completely delusional, and being delusional doesn't always work out for everyone. So at the suggestion of actually my husband, I decided to start attending some local markets to try and get my products out there. Markets are such a mixed bag. As a general business principle, you should not rely on the success of somebody else's business in order to fuel your own business's success. So that also goes kind of for social media. If social media were deleted tomorrow and all of your business was on there, then you're obviously going to struggle to maintain consistent sales after that fact, which is why you should, try and have your own platform and your own blog and all of these things that are very difficult to maintain in reality. At the end of the day, we can't always avoid relying on other people's business to fuel our own. It's not like you can go out and set up your own market overnight. It takes a lot of work. That's a whole business in and of itself. You're just somebody who wants to crochet blankets or make lampshades or make candles or whatever it is, and for people to see them, think that they're nice and buy them. Markets can be really good, but they can also be really, really bad. And so in this video, I kind of want to cover the pros and cons of attending a market as a product-based business owner, as well as what you can do to try and make markets a little bit better for yourself or to pick the correct markets. So let's discuss a few of the pros of going to markets. First of all, it's a great way to get cash. If you're struggling to make online sales, if you haven't made a sale online in a really, really long time and you are just really down about it, going to the occasional market can kind of help you touch grass and actually see that there is interest in your product and you're not delusional, and actually people will buy it if they see it and they like it. It also gets you really good at explaining what your product is. Sometimes when you're at home and you're kind of in a bubble in your head and you're writing maybe copy for a blog post or copy for an Instagram caption and you're trying to communicate the exact value of your product, if you haven't had to actually explain it to someone, it can be quite hard to communicate what you're trying to do. But if you go to markets, almost everyone who comes by is going to be like, what is this? And then you have to be like, okay, well, it's this, it does this, it's good for this. If you're someone who likes this, then you're also going to like this. And you get your patter down really good. It helps you narrow down the focus of your product and cut out all the stuff that actually it's not that relevant. Maybe you thought it was a core feature, but people in reality don't care about it. And so you can cut it out altogether. And it also puts you in touch with other business owners who have a lot of experience already. When I go to markets, I'm often the youngest business there. Most people have been running their businesses for 5 years or 8 years or 15 years. Some markets that I go to, the really big expensive ones, people will be like, yeah, we've been doing this for 30 years. We've been coming to this market for 15. And I'm like, okay, well, I just signed up last week because I heard about it. So cool. While all of those things can be positives, it's also really important to not just live off the high of going to a market. First of all, markets are very time and money expensive. First of all, whatever fee that you're quoted often is minus VAT. So if someone is selling, this is going to be an extreme example, but I have been to markets that are this expensive. Someone who is selling a market stall rate at £600 probably hasn't included VAT in that price in order to attract you, and you will end up paying £800 plus an admin fee of £90. All in all, you'll spend £1,000 just attending the market, and that's not including food and fuel and just standing around being miserable all day. Also, you'll probably have to take time off work or time away from your family if you've got one. Just bear in mind that there are time and monetary costs that are not included in whatever attractive glossy marketing that you've been given for the market. Also understand that whatever the company who's running the market has told you about footfall does not apply to you. They're not talking about you, okay? They might be talking about, if I've been to markets at major tourist attractions, the footfall that they were talking about was for the tourist attraction. No one came to the market. Or people might be coming out to come specifically to the market, but you might find that absolutely nobody there is your target audience, okay? So something that you need to do before you sign up for any market, generally speaking, you need to try and get some research on the audience. The best way to do that is to attend the market yourself, or to talk to other business vendors who have gone to that market before. You can usually find them listed on a website of the marketing company who's running the event. Or you can find testimonials online as well, or go to the events company's social media page and like go through and look at the types of pictures that they've taken, look at the kind of people who you can see who have attended, and try and gauge from that whether or not your target audience is going to be there. This is just an example because I live in the UK and I live in Southeast England. There are certain products that people make that are specifically, say, for black skin or for black hair. Going to like a general farmer's market in Kent is not going to be where your target audience is, but there are events. For example, there's something called the Black Culture Market, which is run quarterly, that will have your target audience. My product, for example, is very wellness focused. It's not always great where I live because I live in the countryside. There are a lot of older people here. But when I go to places like Hastings or Brighton, or if I go to like vegan events, or if I go to something called like the Mind, Body and Spirit event, my target audience is there because those are people who are interested in wellness, in organic products, things like that. Just doing general research on demographics, doing research on the type of events that company has thrown in the past. And also, if you can, attending the market yourself so you can see what kinds of people go. With those 2 points combined, basically the main negative that I'm trying to communicate is that you will probably not make any money at markets depending on where it is, what your business does, and what the general economic climate is. Last year was a really, really bad year for markets. Every single market that I went to, the people who had been going for many, many years had said that this is the worst one that they've been to the extent that I felt that I was the curse. Like, I was the person making the market bad, because it's like, how can this be everyone's worst year at every event that I go to? But if you live in the UK or the world in general, you know that the economy isn't great right now. So it makes sense that people are a bit tighter with their money. They're not so willing to spend on things that are non-essential, or even if they would spend, say, on candles or clothes or whatever, they're gonna buy it cheaper at big brand stores. And the first thing to go is like your ethics and your morals. So it might be great that you're making like handmade paraffin-free soy candles, but at the end of the day, if somebody just wants a Christmas scent and they've only got £2 to spend and your candles cost £20, they're not going to spend it on yours. I think there's a lot of marketing speak out there about how, no, they always have the budget, it's you that's like communicating wrong. I don't think that's true. I think sometimes people genuinely do not have the budget. Going to markets over and over again and getting yourself in more and more debt, paying for these tables and making minus money like I did last year, like is detrimental both to your business and also to your psyche, right? Because it genuinely might not be you. It genuinely might be the economic circumstances, the place that you're at, the time that you're in. A lot of these factors are not necessarily working in your favor. Whatever the marketing that the company has sold you about, we get 10,000 people every year to come, that doesn't necessarily apply to how well your business is going to perform. I don't know the exact figure right now, but I'm going to try and figure it out and put it up on screen. I reckon I spent at least £2,500 on market stalls last year. I probably just about made that back. So I would say that I broke even. Actually, no, I probably spent closer to 3,000. But basically it got to a point where the market that I went to, any money that I made from that, profit or otherwise, was immediately going on to paying the next market. So it wasn't actually profitable for my business in terms of revenue. Now, there are a few things I'm doing differently this year. Number one is I'm heavily researching the markets I go to. I'm being like brutally, just completely ruthless, making sure that my target audience is absolutely going to be there. If not, I'm not going. Making sure that I can afford it and I can afford to lose money as well. Like if I don't make back the money that I spent on the store, it's not the end of the world, because in some cases, if I've spent £1,000 coming to your market and I don't make that back, then that is hugely detrimental. So I've got a maximum cap on the amount that I'm willing to spend. I'm not going to spend more than £250 on a market, and I'm not going to attend unless my target audience is there. I'm not going to attend unless I've been there before or I've marketed at that market before and I know it's going to be good. And I'm also going to do research into other vendors who have been, potentially contact some of them and make sure that it's worth my while. Apart from doing that, I found that there are 3 very useful things that you can do at markets if you're not making any money that can still make it profitable overall. If you've been going to markets or you're planning to go to markets, please at least do these 3 things every single time that you go, so that if you don't make any money, you've got something profitable out of it. The first thing that you need to do every time you go to a market is bring something that will let people sign up to your email list. So whether that's literally a piece of paper with a pen that you leave on the table, that's what I do a lot of the time because people don't be knowing how to use QR codes. If you want to use a QR code, if you've got an iPad, if you make people sign up for your email every time they make a purchase, that doesn't always work, but in general, if you just have a way for people to voluntarily sign up, and make sure you mention it when you make a sale. By the way, if you like this, I also run discounts around Mother's Day or Christmas. I also give out wellness tips. Hey, you know, we've chatted for a really long time about the best way to use the product. You know, in my blog posts, I often write about that kind of stuff. So do you want to like maybe receive them? You could opt out at any time. Just get them signed up. And I find that if I talk to like 100 people and I only make like 10 sales, I might still get like 5 email signups, which in a day isn't awful and it builds up over time. Now I've got 200 to 300 people on my email list. That's really not terrible. It's way better than 0, and it's something that I'm going to focus on a lot more this year. The next really valuable thing that you can get from markets is feedback on your products. If you've got something that people can touch, people can smell, people can taste, people can like throw in the air and like experience or whatever it is, you can get real-time feedback on your products. Because of the type of product that I sell like multiple variations of the same sort of product. People's feedback has directly enabled me to enhance the product and make micro changes and make variations that suit different people. So people might come along and be like, oh, I don't really like this specific one. Do you have something that's, and I'm like, yep, I do. Here it is, right here. Yeah, right there. Getting that real-time feedback might help you know if you've got a line of stuff, what you need to get rid of. It's not making money either online or in person, so I can get rid of it. Or what products you need to expand, what you should bring more of next time, what's your best seller. And also something that I found going to repeat markets is that you get repeat customers as well. I see the same people every 6 months at one event that I go to that I probably will go to this year, even though it's really, really, really expensive. I see somebody who bought from me for the first time at that market, buys from me every single month online. Then when they come to the Christmas market, they're like, hey, I love your stuff. Let me buy something for my mum, my sister, my daughter, my cousin, my auntie, you know, everybody in their family. And by the time they've done that, they've spent £100 on just my stall because they know me. They're already in my email ecosystem. They've bought from me multiple times before. They like my product, and I've been able to create things based on their feedback that they like. I actually just got feedback from somebody the other day because at a market I was doing, I did a free sample of a product that I was testing for the future that I might release, but I'm not too sure. And this customer ordered something else, but in their note, they said, hey, by the way, that thing that you gave me at the market, I really liked it. When you release it, let me know. Like, if that's not a loyal customer for life, no one is, okay? So make sure that you're getting active feedback on your products, either in person or when that person has gone home, if you got them on the email, hey, you bought it, did you like it? Please leave a review. Tell me what you thought. You know, get that feedback whatever way you can. This might be the most important one, okay? So the 2 people that you need to network with are other businesses who are there and also customers who might own businesses. Now, the second one is really hard to spot, but sometimes they identify themselves. Obviously, the people around you. Make sure that you make friends with other store owners because they can drop nuggets of wisdom that you're just like, I didn't even know that I needed to know that, but now I know that, and that's changed my life. They will tell you about other markets that you should attend that are more suitable for your product. They will tell you about the type of people who live here, who go there, who buy this, who do that. They'll tell you how long they've been running for, how they got their first wholesale clients, how they're now stocked in shops, where they, you know, they will give you their whole background. And just from that, you can like pick up so many nuggets of wisdom, especially if you're new to the game. Occasionally, you will get customers who are like kind of looking at your product and they're like, sometimes those people are looking and not buying or like kind of browsing because they are like a shop owner. Like the area that I live in, we've got lots of farm shops. A lot of these people are farm shop owners, or they own like little boutique stores. They might be thinking of stocking your product. Always invite people over, always start a conversation with people, always have some sort of lead. Like if you're selling like clothes or something with that, just something like, hey, you know, this is like all handmade organic wool. You know, just say something, start the conversation with them. Hey, did you know that our hand creams are like really good for sensitive skin? Do you want to try some? Like just start opening it up and like putting it on their hand. Like the product that I sell, I literally put it into people's hands as they're walking past, because if someone's made eye contact with your store and kind of slowed down, even if they're still moving, then they might be interested. But if they've stopped completely, you need to reel them in, because you don't know if that person's going to be your first wholesale client. And it was for me. I've got multiple wholesale leads for my product just from people stopping at my store and being like, I don't know. And then I'm like, well, do you want to try some? Do you want to try it? Just try it. Give them like a no strings attached sample of whatever you're doing, and that might be your first lead into a way bigger opportunity. So that's my 2 cents on attending markets. Let me know in the comments if you've had any other experiences, or if you've got any other wisdom that you want to share with the class. I'm really interested to get your guys' feedback, whether or not you've been planning to do markets, whether or not you do markets and they've been good or they've been bad. I personally think that markets in 2024 will be better. I think people are bored of being miserable and poor. I think that if you apply the right strategy, if you apply the right techniques, then you can find the markets that are best for you. If you want me to talk more about this topic, I'm happy to do like a deeper dive about how I specifically find markets that are good for my product, and how I'm approaching it this year, how I'm budgeting for markets, because that's a whole different thing. Like, anyway, we're not there yet. We're easing ourselves into this stuff. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are about markets. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys, and I'll see you again in the next one.